Welcome to Things You Don't Know. In this episode, we will briefly examine another ubiquitous item often taken for granted. The subject? Spray cans. Yeah, really. And the historical antecedents go back a long time, and a very confusing little trail it is. We again welcome Ms. Tannehill to assist in presenting this unusual topic.
Welcome back, Ms. Tannehill. We're so glad to have you with us again. Several of our listeners have asked how we develop some of these more ordinary household topics, and the process is a little different than you might expect. Typically, Dr. Weaver, what we've done in the past is that you'll suggest we look around wherever we might be at the moment, find some item we see, something ordinary, and and we ask ourselves what we know about the origin of the items and select one or more to investigate further. Not everything historical is some grand election battle or economic theory. Sometimes the most ordinary things can prove very interesting.
Now, that's a unique process and one that has worked very well. I'm sure this topic will fall into the category of something that works well. The history of aerosol spray cans is a little confusing, partly because the information is usually presented in tiny parts, leaving out the connections and obscuring the complete picture.
Oh, you are so right. It was very confusing to do the research on this. Research to me is almost sacred, okay?
I agree with you there.
And when somebody does a really sloppy job, and most people on this topic have done sloppy work, and they don't connect the dots. I mean, come on, give me a break. That's not real research. That's, I can't say the word I usually use, but yakking. Anyhow, people tend to present one of three timelines. They tend to either talk about the soda siphons, which we're going to mention in a minute, the first patent in Norway, we're also going to mention that, or the patent in the USA. Now, a little side note word about the patents in the United States. The United States Congress established patents April the 10th, 1790. The first patent board, yeah, it's been a couple of days. But if you think about it, before then, people didn't have much protection for inventions. The first patent board was made up of some people whose names you may recognize. Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson, Secretary of War Henry Knox, and Attorney General Edmund Randolph. On July 31st, 1790, the inventor Samuel Hopkins was awarded the first U.S. patent for a new method of making potash and pearl ash. Now, what is potash? It was later changed and called potassium carbonate. And that is something that's used as a fertilizer or as a detergent or detergent additive to clean fibers in textile manufacturing, and also as an ingredient in soap. The original concept of spray cans probably goes back to 1790 when self pressurized soda siphons were introduced in France. The first aerosol spray can patent was granted in Oslo in 1927. Huge gap in there. And we don't have a lot of information about what happened in that time. Anyhow, Eric Rothheim got the patent in 1927 in Oslo. He was a Norwegian chemical engineer, and a United States patent was granted for the invention in 1931. The patent rights were sold to a United States company for 100,000 Norwegian kroner.
That's just over $200,000 in 1931 money, friends. The question I've always had is how do spray cans work? Aerosol spray is a type of dispensing system which creates an aerosol mist made out of liquid particles. It comprises a can or a bottle that contains a payload and a propellant under pressure. When the container's valve is opened, the payload is forced out of a small opening and emerges as an aerosol or as a mist.
In 1939, American Julian S. Kahn received a patent for a disposable spray can, but the product remained largely undeveloped. Kahn's idea was to mix cream and a propellant from two sources to make whipped cream at home. Not a true aerosol in that sense, but mighty tasty.
Indeed. During World War II, the United States government funded research into a portable way for servicemen to spray malaria carrying bugs. And what you have to realize is that up to the time that this happened, these canisters were like at least as big as scuba tanks and heavier. So not very portable. And they wanted something that they could use because we had servicemen and women who were in many of the islands and they were getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, which, by the way, are one of the most dangerous critters to humans on the planet. Anyhow, Department of Agriculture researchers Lyle Goodhue and William Sullivan developed a small aerosol can that was pressurized by a liquefied gas, a fluorocarbon, in 1943. It was their design that made products like hairspray and other things possible, along with the work of good old inventor Robert Ablamplat.
In 1949, 27-year-old Robert H. Ablamplat's invention of a crimp-on valve enabled liquids to be sprayed from a can under the pressure of an inert gas. Spray cans, mainly containing insecticides, were available to the public in 1947 as a result of their use by U.S. soldiers for preventing malaria and other insect-borne diseases. Ablamplat's invention made use of a lightweight aluminum, which made the cans a cheap and practical way to dispense liquid foam, powders, and various creams. In 1953, Robert Ablamplat patented his crimp-on valve for what he called, quote, dispensing gases under pressure, end quote. This is really amazing to me. This Precision Valve Corporation was soon earning over $100 million. And this is the 50s, so add another zero as to what that's worth today. Manufacturing 1 billion aerosol cans annually in the United States alone, and 1/2 billion in 10 other countries throughout North America and Western Europe.
Now, in 1948, three companies were granted licenses by the United States government to manufacture aerosol sprays. Two of the three companies, Chase Products Company and Claire Manufacturing, continue to manufacture aerosol sprays. The quote, crimp-on valve, end quote, used to control the spray in low-pressure aerosol cans was developed in 1949 by the Bronx machine shop proprietor, Albert H. Ablamplat.
You know, the guy was smart, but he should have had a better name.
Yeah, he should have. It's
A
very
little easier to
difficult to say.
pronounce name anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So anyhow, in 1974 now, we're skipping ahead a couple of days. Doctors Frank Sherwood Rowland and Mario J. Molina proposed that chlorofluorocarbons used as propellants in aerosol cans contributed to the depletion of Earth's ozone layer, which is a really critical thing. The ozone layer protects the Earth from really terribly damaging radiation and other things. So, in response to that research, the U.S. Congress passed amendments to the Clean Air Act in 1977, authorizing the EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency, to regulate the presence of chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, in the atmosphere. The United Nations Environment Program called for ozone layer research that same year. Then, in 1981, authorized a global framework convention on ozone layer protection. Now, in 1985, Joe Farman, Brian Gardner, and John Shanklin published the first scientific paper detailing the hole in the ozone layer. That same year, the Vienna Convention was signed in response to the UN's authorization. 2 years later, the Montreal Protocol, which regulated the production of CFCs, was formally signed. It came into effect in 1989. Now, eventually, the U.S. formally phased out CFCs 10 years later, almost 10 years later, in 1995. Took us a while.
In the mid 1970s, concern over the use of fluorocarbons adversely affecting the ozone layer drove Eplenap back into his lab looking for a solution. After about 6 months of research, he began substituting water-soluble hydrocarbons for the damaging fluorocarbons, creating an environmentally friendly aerosol can that did not harm the environment. This put the manufacture of the aerosol spray can products into extreme high gear. Robert Eplenap invented both the first clog-free valve for spray cans and the famous Aquasol, or pump spray, which used water-soluble hydrocarbons as the propellant source. Anybody who went to high school, as I did in the late 80s and early 90s, remembers young women in particular who seemed to go through that sort of pump spray by the case.
Yes, now true aerosol sprays release their propellant during use. Some non-propellant alternatives, including various spray bottles, squeeze bottles, and bag-on-valve, BOVs, or bag and can, those are BICs, compressed gas aerosol systems. Packaging that uses a piston barrier system by CCL Industries or Earth Safe by Crown Holdings is often selected for highly viscous products such as post-foaming hair gels, thick creams and lotions, food spreads, and industrial products and sealants. The main benefit of this system is that it eliminates gas leaks and assures separation of the product from the propellant, maintaining the purity and integrity of the formulation throughout its consumer lifespan. The piston barrier system also provides a consistent flow rate with minimal product retention. Another type of dispensing system is the bag and can, or BOV system, where the product is separated from the pressurizing agent with a hermetically sealed, multi-layered laminated pouch, which contains complete formulation integrity, so only pure product is dispensed. Among its many benefits, the bag and can system extends the product's shelf life and is suitable for all altitude, all 360 degrees. Dispensing quiet and non-chilling discharge. One key performance difference relative to the true aerosol systems is that traditional BOV dispensing pressures drops as the product is dispensed. The bag and can system is used in the packaging of pharmaceutical, industrial, household, pet care, and other products that require complete separation between the product and the propellant or require near complete evacuation of thin to viscous formulations.
For all the good things that these aerosol sprays bring to us, there are some safety concerns concerning these sprays. First it was the CFCs destroying the ozone layer. Take care of that. But let's look at a few others. The contents of the cans may be deliberately inhaled to achieve intoxication from the propellant, known as inhalant abuse or huffing. Calling them canned air or cans of compressed air could and has misled the ignorant to think that they are harmless. Because really, they don't have air in them, they have these chemicals in them. And huffing them has caused deaths. People die from it because it replaces the oxygen in your lungs and you're screwed. Aerosol burn injuries can also be caused by spraying aerosols directly onto the skin, sometimes called frosting. It's a diabatic expansion, which causes the aerosol contents to cool rapidly on exiting the can. The propellants in aerosol cans are typically combinations of ignitable, that's flammable, gases, and have been known to cause fires and explosions. However, non-flammable compressed gases, such as nitrogen and nitrous oxide, have been widely adopted into a number of aerosol systems, such as air fresheners, aerosolized whipped cream, as have non-flammable liquid propellants. In later 2021 and through 2022, a large number of consumer aerosols were recalled due to the presence of benzene in their finished products. The recall was pretty far reaching. Benzene is one of those, it's considered a trace contaminant in some, but not all hydrocarbon propellants. Now, through rigorous testing at both the propellant manufacturer and the aerosol filling site, unsuitable aerosol propellants can be detected and destroyed prior to use in any finished products.
Now that we know a little bit more about this, we should remember that just recently they've recalled some products from the cosmetic shelves that had benzene in them because they were found to cause cancer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I think this is one more example of something that on the surface looks routine and turns out, as with many, not only many products, but many historical events, to be more multi-layered, multimodality, and complex than we originally thought. That's what, to me, makes it so interesting. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this brief look at the history of aerosol sprays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave us a note. Please give us a like and subscribe. And most importantly, join again soon. We have a lot of wonderful things coming up. May I just thank Ms. Tannehill and Dr. Weaver for their invaluable contributions.
This was very fun and very interesting, and I plan to do more podcasts with this team.
Oh, I'm glad.
Hope to see you all soon, and thank you again, Dr. Weaver and Dr. Deneen, for allowing me to participate. Bye for now.
So we didn't coerce you into doing this?
No, you don't have enough money to bribe me.
Well, it's just interesting that some people have said, oh, you couldn't get somebody that good to come on for nothing.
Wrong. It's a golden opportunity.
There you go. Well, look, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it very much. Please leave a like and subscribe. Subscribe so you get notified about some of the new topics that are coming up, and we've got some juicy ones. So join us again soon. Bye for now.